Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon. Salam. Good afternoon, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam. Good afternoon, Prof.
How you guys doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so this is actually going to be our last class, our last regular class, because as I mentioned yesterday, next 2 weeks will be your presentations. So I saw that the presentation list looks filled in, so thank you for doing that. So today's class, to sort of wrap up and prepare for your final exam, I'm gonna briefly go over the final exam, okay, in terms of the content, and then just look things that you should look to in terms of studying, what you should study. Give you a few hints, a little bit of insight into the exam, and then to help you to prepare, we're gonna have a Kahoot practice exam, okay? So, and the winner, well, I can't say that actually. I won't say that. I won't commit to that, but we're gonna do a Kahoot, just a 10-question quick practice exam. So you can see how prepared you are for the final, okay? Give you an idea. So let me just wait and make sure we have enough people online before I start. So as I go through and briefly explain about the final exam, please make sure to take notes, okay? Of course, you can always go back and re-watch the recording of the class because we record the classes, but it's good to take notes as you're listening on, like things you should study and stuff like that. Try not, don't be lazy. Take good notes so that you're well prepared, okay? Because even though we have all the classes recorded and stuff, all the lecture notes are provided and all that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the answers or the questions will be right from the notes, obviously, because we're in a open resource environment now, right? So you have open book, open note, open internet. So surely the questions are not going to be straight from your notes. Okay, so please make sure to take good notes as I go through this, okay? So I'm just going to quickly, I'm not going to share my screen. I'm gonna just sort of discuss things that you should know about the final, okay? So the format is a little bit different than the first exam. There's only going to be 7 multiple choice questions, multiple choice and true false questions. Okay, there's only going to be 7. And then there's going to be 4 short answer questions. So those are like open-ended questions, but they're going to be short in nature. Okay, so we're just, listing a few things, brief answers. Okay, and then there's going to be 3 longer essay questions. Okay, so this one, this exam is going to be more essay-oriented, more open-ended types of questions. Okay, but I think in terms of time, you should still have plenty of time. 2 hours should be plenty of time to complete the exam. And if you're well prepared, then you could probably finish it in an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, if you're well prepared. If you have to go and search for all the materials, and obviously it's going to take you quite a bit longer. All right, so just to let you know about that. Okay, that's the format. Okay, that's the format of the exam. So 7, 4, 3. Okay, 7 multiple choice, 4 short answer, 3 essay. Okay, macam tu. Now, in terms of content, okay, things to look for, okay, things that you should focus on in terms of your studying. Okay, so this exam, we will not cover the first 3 topics. Those were covered by the first exam, yeah? So we're going to start with youth subcultures, right? So we started, our 4th topic of the class was youth subcultures. Okay, so this exam will be everything from youth subcultures and after and later, right? So of course there will be at least a couple questions on youth subcultures. So you should know what is a subculture, right? In the context of society, what makes something, what makes it a youth subculture? right? What is it? Sort of a definition, sort of. And then some examples of youth subcultures. You should have a clear idea of, based on that definition, what are some examples of youth subcultures, both in Malaysia and beyond, okay? You should know about the positive youth development approach, the PYD approach, okay? So we talked about the 6 Cs, we talked about youth development assets, okay? So definitely know about those. You should understand the difference between a positive youth development approach and a deficit-based approach to working with youth, all right? Definitely should know about the differences there, all right? A little bit of, we talked a little bit about IR 4.0, right? And how young people need to be prepared for IR 4.0. What are the challenges with IR 4.0? Okay, so not a whole lot on that, but you should know at least the basics around what young people need to succeed, right, in the IR 4.0 age. Okay, so in terms of non-formal education, what kinds of skills and intelligences they need and stuff like that. Okay, youth associations. Remember we spoke about youth associations? We had one class talking about youth associations as organizations that help young people to develop, all right? So you should understand the roles of youth associations as agents of youth development. What kind of roles do they play? What are they expected to play? What kind of opportunities do they provide youth in terms of their development, all right? And then youth workers. Okay, we spoke, yesterday's class was on youth work. So you should understand the roles that youth workers are meant to play with youth. Okay, and then how youth workers are how they work to help young people become better citizens, right? So we spoke yesterday in the class, in the lecture, about one of the goals is to help develop young people's citizenship skills and helping young people to become more engaged in civic activities, right? Stuff like that. So youth work and citizenship, that's something that you will definitely have to look into. All right. And then, you should have some, the essay questions are not so much about facts. I don't really expect you to be, like regurgitating facts that I give you in the lecture. I want to know your opinions about things. So, for example, how can a PYD approach help Malaysia to become a more developed country? Okay, and so I might ask questions like that. So you'll have to, give your opinion, but based on the material. So for example, based on what PYD is trying to achieve, its goals, the outcomes that it's trying to achieve with youth, how can that improve society? Stuff like that. Okay. So it's not solely just based on factual information. I also want to know your opinions about some of these things. All right. And then we spoke about youth adult partnership. We talked about Basuga. Remember Basuga? Okay. And how they used a youth adult partnership approach in their work. Okay. So you may want to study up on that and try to recall back, how what they did was effective. Why was it effective? Okay. As both in terms of youth development and also in terms of helping their community to make change. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's pretty much about it. If you just focus on most of those topics, inshallah, you should be okay in terms of the final. Are there any questions? Please let me know if there's any questions about the final exam. Format, content, whatever. No questions? All right. I don't hear anything. I don't see anything in the chat box. Nabila, okay, here's the first question. Do we have extra time during the exam? If you need a little bit of extra time, maybe we can give a little bit of extra time. It depends. We'll see. But yeah, that's a possibility, Nabila. Okay, but try not to have to rely on extra time. And oh, sorry, the other thing I wanted to mention is that if I encourage you to write in English, but if you really feel that it's just really difficult for you to express yourself, especially in terms of the essay questions. If you want to write those in Bahasa, it's okay. I'm certainly not going to penalize you for writing in Bahasa. Um, this is, to me, I want to know what kind of knowledge, your knowledge of the topic, not so much on your language skills. Although, of course, I encourage you to use English. It's good practice for you, but it is a final exam. So if you really feel like you can't really get across your answers in a way that I can understand, then you can use Bahasa. It's okay. Oh, good question, Farah. Thank you about platform. So I'm going to use Google Form. I'm going to use Google Docs like last time, or Google Form, but I'm going to put the link in Puja Blast because we were told by our the Deputy Dean for Academic, we were told that we have to um, use Puja Blast officially as the platform so that, because the issue here now is there are some students that in UPM that are, their status is dropped. They call it dropped, or whatever. And they, by right, they're not allowed to take the final exam. So if we go through Puja Blast will automatically sort of filter those students out. In other words, they can't access Puja Blast if their account is not settled. So it's just an easier way of making sure that everybody that takes it, their status is okay in terms of their status with the university. So I'm gonna use Google Form, but I'm gonna put the link in Puja Blast. So you're gonna have to access Puja Blast. Okay, is that clear? I think Google Form is quite easy to use, yeah? Did anybody have a problem with the Google Form last time?
No.
No, it was okay, Nabila? Okay. Okay, so Siti Aisha asked for essays, how many questions? 3. There'll be 3 essay questions. Okay, 3 essay questions. Okay, thank you, Hazik, for the feedback. Oh, and then also I didn't mention, thank you for the feedback that you gave yesterday on the online quiz that I provided. Survey. The online survey. That was very, very useful information that you guys provided. So thank you very much for that. Okay, well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions, but of course, if you have questions before the exam, you can always WhatsApp me if you have additional questions, okay? So with that, let's have our Kahoot quiz. Everybody ready to play Kahoot?
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna share my Kahoot screen here, and let's see if this works. All right, can you see the screen? So you can go ahead and put in the PIN number there after you open up the app. Okay, we got people have left. We got 31 so far, but there's 43 online in the class, so we're waiting for a few more. Maybe some of you have to open the app or download the app, I don't know. You can also join online. So. 33. 34. 35. Anyone else? 35. Where's the rest of the gang? I think maybe some of you are having unstable internet connections. Okay, well, it looks like we got 34 right now. I'm not sure where the rest of you guys are, but oh, there's 36. Okay, for those of you just joining, please join our Kahoot final exam preparation quiz. Okay, take one more minute. Oh, okay, Desmond. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry you can't join. Okay, well, let's get started. Looks like we're filled up now. So now these questions are, how do I say it? I won't say anything. Okay, there's 10 questions, so do your best. Of course, this is before you've done any studying, so okay, ready? Here we go. Oh, 38. Now the numbers are going up again. Okay, here we go. Bismillah. Oh, now more people coming in. 40. I didn't do it. Okay, here we go. Okay, very good. 21, that's not bad. I'm only giving you 20 seconds to answer, so you got to answer quickly. So this is going to be a bit harder than the actual exam, right? So that's quite good, okay? So the answer is yeah, a social cultural formation within the larger society. So remember, a subculture is a smaller culture within the bigger culture, right? And so I think that's pretty clear from the answer, okay? So the other answer is a meaning system. Well, not necessarily. There's many different types of meaning systems. It's more than just a meaning system, in other words, okay? The other answer is a group of young people within society that like punk music. Well, that's one subculture, but that's not the definition of a subculture, okay? Obviously. Then the last one, a formal group that exists to challenge the mainstream culture. Remember, not all subcultures, youth subcultures, challenge mainstream culture. Some do, like punks and skinheads and Mott Rumpet, you know, for example. But many other subcultures are very much supportive of the mainstream culture, right? So that one is not correct either, okay? Anyone have any questions about that one or problems with that one? No? Okay, I'll proceed.
No.
Okay, yeah, let me, if it's not clear to you, please let me know so that we can discuss it. Okay, next one. Foo, Masmos, look at that. All right, so Gaeta's doing well, MFA. Okay, here we go. Next one. Oh, okay, so this one you guys had some problems with. The deficit approach to youth. Okay, deficit approach. So the answer is when youth are seen as broken and they need to be fixed. Remember, deficits refers to problems, right? So deficits, we look at young people and we look for their problems. And then we say, okay, we need to fix their problems. Okay, that's a deficit approach. You're obsessed with just focusing on young people's problems. Okay, so most of you put, or more, the majority put the first one, A here, alignment between what young people need and what the community provides. That's not a deficit approach. That's actually a That's more of a, actually, that's more of a positive youth development approach, okay, based on young people's needs, okay, and what the community provides, okay. So when you have that alignment, in other words, when they're aligned, then you have healthy development, okay. So that's not referring to the deficit approach to youth. The third one, youth problems can be overcome with love and concern from adults. Well, that may be true, but that's not necessarily what a deficit approach means, all right. Uh, and then when adults provide youth with what they need to thrive. Okay, so that's more of an empowerment approach, more of a PYD or a positive developmental approach. All right. So two of these, the red one and the green one, refer more to a positive developmental approach, not deficit based. Remember, deficit based means we need to fix them. They need to be fixed. They need to be reformed. They're problematic. Okay, that's deficit approach. Okay, you only focus on their problems. All right. Okay, here's, sorry. Oh, why can't you see the question above? Is my thing in the way? Is my bar here? Boleh sekarang.
Yes, the black. Okay,
Oh, I
boleh.
didn't realize you guys saw that bar. I thought only I saw that on my screen. I'm sorry. I always, all this time, when I use Zoom, I always thought that was only on my screen. Okay. All right, so let's try for the next one. I think maybe that one you had some problems reading the question. Let's see what the next one's got here. All right, who's winning? Oh, Masmos, Sugeto. Oh, it's a close. Okay. Fatin, you're a riser. Moving up. Okay, here we go. Number 3. Which best succeeds on PYD? Okay, the 6 C's. Remember, the 6 C's are outcomes, characteristics, what young people need, right? So it's those 6 things: caring, character, connection, contribution, right? Those 6 things. So these are all the way we identify what young people need, right? To transition in a healthy manner to become adults, all right? So that's one way of planning youth development programs, focusing on a positive approach rather than the deficit approach. Okay, so many of you put the green one, youth strengths that can be exploited for their healthy development. Well, the youth strengths is more referring to their developmental assets. Remember, we also talked about developmental assets. So I tried to trick you a little bit with that question. I admit it. Okay, just to see if you knew the difference between the 6 C's or the 6 C's. I mean, they can be referred to as characteristics or even outcomes. The assets are the strengths. Okay, so typically once we identify what those assets are, what those strengths are, and then they can be exploited for achieving the 6 C's, right? So one sort of works as an input and one sort of works as an output. Okay. So most of you put either one of those. And I mean, they're related, so I can understand why you would put the green one there. Okay, just try to make sure you know the difference between them, all right? Because they're two different models of how PYD is actually implemented, okay? One focuses on assets or strengths, the other focuses on the outcomes or the characteristics that we want to see at the end of the day, okay? Can I move on?
Yes, yes.
I'll assume that's a yes, okay? Let's see who's winning now. Oh, Sugita, look at that. Fatin is right on her tail. Okay, Massimo's still top 5. All right, here we go. Number 4. Oh, why is it not support? Many of you put support. Why is support not an internal developmental asset?
Support is external development.
Yes, thank you. Who was that? Hazik? Who was that? Amir.
Yes.
Okay, I can't see who's speaking, that's why. Yes, thank you, Amir. Yes, support is external. It's outside of the young person. They receive support from others around them, parents, whoever, peers, teachers, family. Commitment to learning is inside, it's internal, right? So we try to develop young people's commitment to learning. It's inside them. All the others are external to them, outside, right? Empowerment is about opportunities, right? And support, learning skills and all that. It's outside. They get empowerment from their experiences out in the community, in school, in youth organizations, etc. Right? Boundaries and expectations are also outside, right? But commitment to learning comes from within, so it's an internal asset. All right. Now I realize that I'm not giving you a lot of time to answer these questions, so it's quite fast, and I apologize. I should have maybe adjusted it and made it a little bit longer. Okay. So just do your best. It's a good test, good preparation for you anyway. Okay. So anybody not understand or confused about that one? So remember that list of 40 assets I gave you in the table there? If you remember the handout, it's very clear. You know, they have the external at the top and then the internal at the bottom. So just, go through that and make sure that you understand the difference between them. Okay. That's why when we plan programs, we can use that list of assets to help us plan our programs. And that's how they use it, right? So what are the internal assets we want to develop in youth, and how are we going to use the external assets in their environment to help them develop their internal assets, all right? So that's how it's used. Okay, move on. Let's move on. Okay, who's winning now? Fatin took over the #1 spot. Look at that. Sugita is right on her tail. Okay. All right, here we go. Next one. Okay, so most of you got that right. I think the language was a little bit of a giveaway, right? But given the fact that I'm forcing you to answer in a very short period of time, it's okay. So yeah, so which one is not a criteria of a quality youth development organization? Okay, so of course we want young people in a youth development organization to have lots of challenging activities. So too many challenging experiences would not be a criteria. Okay, so yes, able to attract youth to become involved. All right, that is a quality. Able to integrate youth needs and their abilities. That's a quality. Activities are in line with ensuring community solidarity. That's a quality. Okay. Too many challenging experiences. No, that's not a quality. Okay, we want young people to have challenging experiences. All right, so that one is pretty, I think, pretty obvious. Why, for those who put 7, sorry, for those who put the green one, anyone want to share why you've put that one? Why did you think that's not a quality of a youth development organization? Anyone want to explain your answer? That one is because, you know, a lot of youth development organizations, they are doing their work in communities, right? So they're doing community, you know, civic activities, they're doing environmental activities, the Gotong Royong, all those kinds of activities. Most of them take place in the context of communities, right? So you want community solidarity, you want the community to be involved and at least in support of what they're doing. Yeah, so that's why that one is important. If you go back to the Basuga case study we did, right? I mean, everything they did was really in line with community development. So they're really trying to help develop the community. So it's a very important aspect of their work. So definitely, you know, youth development organizations, they want to work with communities. Yeah. So that's why that one is not the answer. Okay, let's see how you guys did here. Fatin holding on to her lead. All right, so Gita's still there. Oh, Masmos is back in the picture. MFA, consistently, MED. Okay, here we go. Next one. Critical reflection in youth work. We talked about this yesterday. Yeah, that one is hard. I apologize. That one, it's not enough time. I should have adjusted the time. So I apologize for that. Many of you didn't even get a chance to answer. So we talked about the importance of critical reflection, right? In youth work, youth workers, they have to reflect on what they're doing often, yeah? And so as you can see here, the, the, the red one, so the youth worker can make adjustments based on the needs of the youth. So reflective practice, critical reflection helps youth workers to adjust. Like, oh, I tried that with him, but it doesn't work. You know, he still is not interested in joining the program. You know, so they can make adjustments to how they're working, right? Or they try a new approach, try a new strategy, right? So they can change the way they do their work. Okay. If you don't reflect on what you're doing, you can't make those adjustments. Yeah. And then to generate a sense of meaning when working with youth. Okay. So reflection, you know, is what stimulates meaning, generation of meaning. Yeah. And that's very important when you work with youth, is trying to really understand young people's lives and how activities that you do with them matter to them and those types of things. So generating a sense of meaning when working with youth is very important. And it comes from reflecting, you know, reflection, critical reflection, looking at what works, looking at what doesn't work, looking at, you know, how you can be better, how you can, you know, better bond with the young person. All those kinds of things are related to critical reflection for the youth worker to improve his or her practice. So yeah, of course, how else can you improve your practice unless you reflect, right? So if you don't do well on an assignment, you want to think and go through it and look at where did I go wrong? Where did I make my mistakes? How can I improve what I do, you know, for the next time, right? So that's why critical reflection is so important. Okay, so the right answer here, of course, is because it says the following reasons are all why it's important, except, all right? So critical reflection really has nothing to do with helping young people acquire resources, okay? Yes, it's true, youth workers often do help young people acquire resources, especially like now during COVID-19, they need, you know, a lot of young people need a lot of things, right? So youth workers, they help them connect to resources, but that's not related really to critical reflection, okay? It's not really, it's just what they do, okay? But it's not specifically related to critical reflection, okay? So I apologize. That was a hard question. Okay. So, if you had more time, probably more of you would have gotten it right, I think. All right. So let's see how. Okay. Hannah. Well, Hannah's making her move. All right. Here we go. A few more. Okay, I knew that many of you are going to confuse the yellow and the green. Okay. You're not totally wrong if you put supportive relationship, actually, the yellow one. Okay. But the better answer is developmental relationship. Who can tell me what the difference is? What's the difference between a supportive relationship and a developmental relationship? Anyone? Who knows the difference?
I think the supportive relationship is more like give motivation and kind word, and developmental relationship is more like assist the youth or guide them, I think.
Very good, very good. Yeah, you're on the right track there. More or less, yes. Whenever you hear developmental, think learning. Okay, because learning and education is how people develop. That's how we improve. That's how we become more mature. That's how we become wiser. That's how we become more refined as human beings. That's how we build our character. It's through learning, right? So developmental is about um, all those things, progression in that way. So it is supportive, but it's specifically supportive aimed at helping young people to learn and to become more prepared as adults. A supportive relationship is exactly what you said. I'm not sure who said that, but exactly what you said. It's helping young people with their problems. If they get in trouble, counseling them, stuff like that. So it is supportive. Youth Adult Partnership is supportive, but it's supportive specifically aimed at their their development and their learning. Okay, so there is a bit of a difference there. Okay, it's an important difference because that's why Youth Adult Partnership is a strategy that we use in youth programs, right? So that young people will learn from those experiences, right? So there is the element of support, but it's not completely about support. All right. So I can see why you'd put support as your answer, but think more next time. Think more about development and learning and that kind of thing. Okay, so that was a little bit of a tricky one, but I think at least most of you had time to answer. So next one. All right, let's see. Fatin is holding on to her lead. Uh-oh, Masmos is making her move. MFA is making his or her move. I don't know who that is. Okay, we got three more questions. Here we go. True or false? True or false? Oh no. Why did you guys put true? Who can tell me? Who'd like to share why? To help youth prepare for IR 4.0, Malaysia should provide less non-formal learning opportunities. Maybe you didn't see the less there. Is that why?
I don't see the non words.
Well, the non-formal is not the issue. Young non-formal, it's non-formal education. Oh, you didn't see the non-formal, so you just thought it said education. But even so, I mean, for IR 4.0, they need all kinds of education. But remember, we spoke in the class about the importance of non-formal education with IR 4.0 because they need to learn a lot of those things like soft skills. Remember, intelligence, emotional intelligence, creative intelligence. They need to learn about ethics. We talked about all that. So most of that they learn through non-formal education, right? So that's why the answer was false, actually, here. All right. So Malaysia needs to provide them with more non-formal education opportunities, not less. All right. So I'm surprised. I thought you guys would be okay with that one. Okay. So make sure, again, this is rushed. I didn't give you much time, but just make sure to try to read the question carefully. Okay. Oh, also in the final exam, all the questions will be bilingual. Dui bahasa, okay? It'll be English and Malay. All right, just so you know.
Excuse me, Prof.
Yeah.
I think I misinterpret the question. I thought that less non-formal, it means like we should provide, the statement, I thought it means to we provide more formal education. So that's why I
Oh,
answered true.
okay.
Yeah.
Betul.
Betul.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Excuses,
didn't see the
excuses, no.
question like that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. Try not to read into the questions too much. Try to just read it as is. But I can understand, yeah, I can understand why you'd write that. Okay. This is just a practice exam. No worries. Okay. But just know, it's just important to know that in the context of IR 4.0, young people need a variety of different educational opportunities, because of the nature of the skills and the competencies that they have to acquire. They can't get it all from formal education. All right. So that's the point there. All right. So just make sure you understand that, how you do on the Kahoot exam is not important, but make sure you understand that point. Who is UPM Pretty? Look at that. And Lynn, where did these people come from? Wow, you guys shooting up with just 2 questions to go. All right, here we go. Okay, very good. Excellent. For those that had time to answer, I can see many did not, but for those who did have time to answer, that's good. Yeah, exactly. Because youth-centeredness really refers to empowerment. We want to empower young people, right? To play the major roles in developing programs, okay? And by doing that, this will help them to acquire all those important skills that they need in PYD, in terms of PYD, all right? Okay, so most of you got that right, for those who did answer, all right? Hi, I don't know what happened. We got disconnected there. Is everyone back?
Yes.
I don't know, my connection, I just lost it all of a sudden. Sorry, let me share the screen again. Okay. All right, let me hide this thing. Okay, so we have, I think, just one more question. Last question, here we go. Okay. I can see many of you have dropped out of the game, so we're only down to about 20. Okay, attracting youth to become involved in youth organizations. Yes, so youth workers, they try to get young people involved in more organized activities, yeah, so that they can work with them on a consistent basis. They can have regular contact with them, and of course, it's through those types of organizations and activities that young people acquire all those important skills and get those important experiences that they need. All right. So why is providing experiences to help them do well in school? Well, yeah, of course they want youth to do well in school, but that's not really the prime focus of youth work. It's not about young people doing well in school. That might be one of their activities, but that's not really what youth work itself is about. Okay, getting youth to like them, that's not really a concern. Of course, they do try to form close relationships with them. So yeah, getting youth to like them is important, but it's not really the main concern. And keeping them mentally healthy. Remember we spoke about yesterday about Youth workers are not counselors, they're not psychologists, they're not psychiatrists, they're not really the ones that provide mental health counseling or therapy or anything like that, but they can link young people to those services if they need them, right? So remember, the youth worker is someone that is referred to as a resource linker. They link young people, or they connect young people to different resources. So if they're working with a young person that they find out needs maybe some counseling or something, they will link them usually to a counselor, okay? But they necessarily will not be involved in so much in like mental health therapeutic activities, okay? So the main most concern is to get them involved in learning, educational, and developmental activities. Okay, that's what youth work is about. Remember, it's about education. It's about social and personal education. Okay. All right. So let's see who won the game. It's with Fatin. Number 3, Fatin. Congratulations. Number 2, Lynn. And number 1 is Ashikin. Okay, so both you guys got 7 out of 10. MFA and Sugi, the runners up. Okay. So congratulations to the 3 winners. Ashikin is the winner, overall winner. Okay, so the difficult questions. Okay, critical reflection. All right. Internal assets. Deficit approach to youth development. Okay, that one we had some problem with the wording. Okay, youth workers should be most concerned with. And then youth partnership is exactly what kind of relationship? Developmental relationship. And the 6 C's. Okay, so just take note of your responses and then what you felt was maybe confusing. Okay, so who won? Ashikin, would you like to say a few words on your victory?
Excuse me, Prof. Nabila's mic is not working.
Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know. Oh, you guys using your phones, I see. I'm in the chat box. Okay, so anyone have any questions before we break?
The final exam we are going to use Kahoot too, right, Prof?
Going to use what? Sorry?
Are we going to use Kahoot as well for the final exam?
Use what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Kahoot!
No, I said Google Form, remember before?
I don't remember, sorry.
In the beginning of the class, I said we're going to use Google Form like the first exam, but I'm going to provide the link for it in PutraBlast, because you have to be able to access PutraBlast to take your final exam. We were instructed to do that for all the final exams by our Deputy Dean's office. Okay, so the exam itself will be on Google Form, but you'll have to access it through PutraBlast. Okay, clear?
Okay. Yeah, Prof.
Okay, Anim. Anyone else? Questions? Last chance?
Excuse me, Prof.
Yeah. Mimi?
For the SC question, there are 3, right?
Essay, yeah,
So we have to answer all.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. This exam, I want to provide you more time, more opportunity to write out your answers rather than much less on objective multiple choice. Just 7 multiple choice question only. Because you are, as bachelor students, universities, we're getting a lot of criticism about our students, you know, inability to think critically and express themselves, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, we really want to, you know, focus on assessment now that allows you those opportunities to express yourself. And essays is one of the ways of doing that. You know, I mean, essay questions, we can give partial credit and stuff like that. It's much better in that sense than objective, because in an essay you may have good points that, you know, we can give you credit for, even though maybe you don't get the whole question right, but I can give you partial credit based on, you know, what. So I like it better. I think it's a fair way of assessing. And plus it's open, you know, it's open resource. You guys have access to all the resources, internet, everything, you know, so just make use of all that information that you have from the class. And then if there's additional resources from outside that you get, you know, to construct an essay. But when I say essay, I don't mean, you know, each question is like 2 or 3 pages. I mean, it's just a short essay. It's, you know, it's open-ended, so you can write as much as you want. So Hazik says, excuse me, Prof, I want to ask if in the time of 2 hours durations, the connections of internet have a problem, can we extend our time? Yeah, of course. If you're honestly really having connection problem, just let me know. I'll be online, of course. And then we can negotiate that extension. With Google Form, I don't think there's a whole lot of need for a strong connection. There's not a lot of, you know, it's more or less just a click here, a click there, and then just putting in your responses, then just like clicking the button. I don't expect there to be too much of a need for it, but if it happens, sure, we can negotiate that one. Okay, sure, Hazik. Hanim, kenapa tuh? Bunuh je la kami ni, Prof. Meaning what?
Sorry, Prof. I wasn't meant to send that to everyone. It's actually a private conversation. Sorry, Prof.
Okay. Okay. Why does it sound like it's going to be difficult, Hanim? Is that why you wrote that? The essays?
Yeah, I was it's just like I was asking you to just kill us, right?
Why? Does it sound hard? Is it going to be too hard?
No, just because I heard about the what, the essay that you asked us to answer all 3 essays.
Yeah.
So I just thought maybe you just kill us rather than
No. No. Don't worry. It's, you know, and also you can choose whether if you're more comfortable writing in Bahasa or English, you know, so you can use Bahasa if you like, you know. They're not going to be very difficult essays, but again, it's just a different format. And I think it's better for you guys because again, you can get partial credit for them rather than if it's a multiple choice question, it's either right or wrong, you know. So you actually have a better chance of doing, I think, better with essay.
Okay, Prof. Prof, I also have another question for you.
Yeah.
Regarding the presentation next week, should we present? I just want the clarification now. We only need to present the question that we interview, not the question, the answer that we interviewed the people,
Yeah.
or you want us to present the whole proposal?
No, not the whole proposal, just the main points, the main sections. It's, I mean, I leave it to you. I mean, if you want to, you know, I'll let you present how you'd like. But again, so think of it this way. Think of, you know, you are presenting your project to a group of policymakers, for example, and you're trying to convince them that, you know, this is an issue that is really important to youth, and we are proposing this program, and this is why, you know. So think of it that way. Think of it like, you know, you're really trying to convince policymakers that they need to do this program for youth, you know. So again, it's only 7 to 8 minutes. So don't present a lot, just the main points. This is also
Alright.
this is also very good practice for you guys because you know, once you get into the world of work and stuff like that, there's many occasions where you have to present your whatever it is you want to say, you have to present it in a very short period of time. So it forces you to kind of make decisions about what's most important for me to present here. You know, so I have this big report, but I can only present a few main points. So what's most important? Okay, so you have to make those decisions. You have to decide, what is it that I really want people to know about my program? Okay, so this is the problem. This is why it's a problem. These are the objectives of our program. You know, this is what we did, and this is what we found. You know, or this is what we, you know, that kind of thing. Yes, Effie, just those key points. Yeah, the rationale, the objective, right? The questions you asked, and then your program plan, and you know, and why, and then how you're evaluating it or whatever. Okay.
Prof, sorry.
Yes, Salina.
Each partner need to present within 8 minutes, right?
Yeah, 7 to 8 minutes. Yeah.
So I would like to suggest something in
Sure.
order to cukupkan masa untuk semua orang.
No, ni satu orang per group, not both members of the group, 7 to 8 minutes. Each group, 7 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
to avoid the dragging of time,
Okay.
I think maybe we need to keep up with the time.
Yeah, sure.
So that tak ada yang lebih, tak ada yang kurang.
Yeah.
So it's fair for everyone.
Yeah, I will be very strict with time. So like, you know, I may give you maximum of maybe 10 minutes at most. Okay. But I'll give you a warning first and then say, okay, you know, you have 1 more minute or something. So don't worry, your most of your mark for this is not going to be on the presentation. Most of the mark is going to be on the written. Okay. So, but there will be some, you know, like maybe 5 out of the 30 points will be on the presentation. Okay. So, if you don't finish everything in the time, don't worry. It's not gonna affect most of the grade, and most of the grade will come from the written report.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
Prof.
All right. Okay, guys, it's 1 o'clock. So if there's nothing else, if you still have questions, feel free to WhatsApp me. You can just send your questions through WhatsApp later. Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Enjoy your lunch. Jumpa lagi. See you next week, inshallah.
Okay,
Thank you,
inshallah.
Prof.
Thank you,
Okay.
Prof.
All right.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. All right. Jumpa lagi.
Assalamualaikum,
Waalaikumsalam.
Prof.